Y muestros aquí en un vídeo canal. Y en el que vamos a jugar un juego que no sé cómo se llama porque no me acuerdo. Y bueno, pues vamos a elegir obviamente nuestro idioma español. Y bueno, pues no sé de qué trata el juego, porque lo he estado viendo por ahí, pero creo que es tipo terror, algo así. No sé de qué trata ni nada, ¿eh? No, no he jugado. ¿Qué? No, no me gusta esto. No me gusta nada esto. Va, en serio. Poca broma. No me gusta nada ya, ¿eh? O sea, empezamos mal y ya no me gusta. A ver, voy a mirar la hora, que es a las 6. Vamos a ponerlo ahí exactamente porque por 20 segundos que hayan pasado. Nota, puedes acceder a configuración de sensibilidad desde el menú. Vale, pues le vamos a dar. Vale, así se llama. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Perfecto. Vamos a jugar. A ver lo que hay. A ver, mis expectativas. Tengo miedo.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
A ver, una introducción que me ha dejado raro. Porque, no sé, no me esperaba un juego así, la verdad. Vamos a subirnos la configuración al 8. Perfecto. A ver, ¿puedo acceder al ordenador? No, llamadas, la cámara. Vale, la introducción me deja un poco raro porque es una historia rara. No sé. De normal, le gusta su trabajo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale, tenemos que ir a la sala de reuniones. Que no sé si hay
Stanley
nada por
went
aquí.
around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
¿Qué? Pero, ¿cómo lo sabe el juego? ¿Cómo lo sabe el juego? Que, tengo muy mala vibra, ¿eh? Ah, reloj, que es. A ver, I hate Mondays. Ok.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Se ha cerrado sola. Uy. ¿Izquierda o derecha? Vamos por la izquierda, va. Vale, creo que la he cagado. Estoy muy cagado.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
¿Qué?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
¿Pero por qué sabe dónde voy cada...? No puedo coger nada. Vamos a abrir esto.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vale, no. No me gusta. No me gusta nada, ¿eh?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vale, esto es muy raro. A ver, os pongo un contexto. Si no habéis entendido, esta persona está en su trabajo, le encanta su trabajo y un día pues algo cambió de él y ahora estamos aquí y no hay nadie en su trabajo. Vale. A ver, esto es un juego. Espero que no salga nada,
into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Dime que ha sido la electricidad, porque me he cagado. O sea, vamos a seguir. A ver. Escape. Uy. No me gusta esto, ¿eh? Va. Es que no sé si hacer caso. Es que a lo mejor hay que acabar el juego aquí.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Uy.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
¿Pero qué acabo de decir? ¿Qué acabo de decir? Vale.
Nope. Still on board with death?
No, es que este narrador es que me está viendo. Me tiene que estar viendo por algún lado. Vamos a cerrar la puerta. Lo de interactuar.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Vale, me da muy mal rollo esto.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
¿Vuelvo a empezar?
Do it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to
sea,
stop
aquí es
by
por
the
la
employee
derecha.
lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
O sea, que si no hago caso se enfada.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Vale. Tiro para la derecha y no le hago caso.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked. Oh, thank God you are willing
Pues
to
no se
listen to
enfada.
me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Vale, no me gusta, ¿eh?
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going?
A ver.
Right. Where were we?
A ver, no me impresiona. Pero hay una puerta aquí.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. No!
Vale, a ver.
Thank God. You lived. You had me worried. No. No. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Vamos, va. A toda por...
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
La tercera. A la tercera va la vencida. Buah, me está dando pena ya el narrador. Ya está.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted to... Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Y ya no puedo hacer nada. Ya. Que no tengo nada más que hacer.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Va la última. Vamos a hacer la última de este capítulo para volver.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Quiero probar lo del inicio, que era de que ponía escape y vamos a ir ahí, porque el
When
primero
Stanley
no se puede
came to a
salir.
set of 2 open doors, to head through the large door that
Aquí
read
es.
Mind Control Facility.
Vale,
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
una muerte violenta pone.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on
Me
track.
está dando oportunidades. Y no
At
las
this
estoy
point,
aceptando.
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
¿Qué hay? ¿Qué hay? ¿Qué hay? Estoy súper apartada de la pantalla, literalmente. Muerto. Vale, perfecto. Espera, consigo.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
¿Qué?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
¿Qué? Han cambiado el narrador.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
¿Qué? Está imparable. Parable.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Stanley ya está muerto. Y acaba el juego. O sea que ya estoy muerto.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Parable, ¿qué significa? Ya está imparable. Vamos a dar que sí.
Can you
¿Qué pasa?
see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
¿Qué está pasando?
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
¿Qué? Ha dicho, la única forma es apagar la PlayStation. Este juego es muy raro, pero seguiremos en el próximo día, porque este juego es súper raro, ¿en serio? A ver, iremos a las cámaras, buscaremos el 427, intentaremos resolver el puzzle. Pero bueno, madre mía, me ha impactado. Y bueno, espero que os haya gustado el vídeo y hasta la próxima.